We are going to solve quadratic equations by using the quadratic formula, and then we will determine the number and type of roots of a quadratic equation. Okay, so far we've learned how to solve by graphing, by factoring, by using the square root property, and by completing the square. Okay? All of those are like different sets of hammers in a toolbox. Okay, you have, say, completing the square. Okay, that might be like your 16-ounce normal hammer. Okay, just your regular claw hammer. And then maybe you have solving by taking the square root of each side. That could be like a tack hammer, okay, which is a smaller hammer. Okay, and then the largest hammer in our toolbox is the 20-pound sledgehammer. Okay, and that's what I would consider the quadratic formula to be. Okay, the quadratic formula will always work to find the roots. Doesn't matter if your roots are imaginary, whether they're complex, whether they're rational numbers or irrational numbers. Okay, the quadratic formula will work. Okay, so now we need to learn what the quadratic formula is. Okay, so the quadratic formula is x is equal to opposite b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Now, the way that we can memorize this is we could sing it to a song, and that's what we're going to do. Okay, so here's how the song goes. It's to the tune Pop Goes the Weasel. I'll sing first, a couple times maybe, and then you will join me. Okay? And then if you refuse to join me, well then you will have a solo. And if you don't want to do the solo, then you can come in before or after school and do a solo with me then. And yes, I think it's that important. Okay, so here's how it goes. And mind you, no matter how bad your singing voice, you think your singing voice is, it's not worse than mine. Okay, so prepare to be tortured. Ready? X is equal to opposite b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Ready? Again, follow along. X is equal to opposite b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Please join me in singing. Ready? X is equal to opposite b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Look, just saying windshield wiper, windshield wiper, windshield wiper. That ain't going to cut it, okay? Louder. I need to hear you. Ready? X is equal to
opposite b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a.
louder. X is equal to
Opposite b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a.
stand up. Stand up. Evidently we got to stand up because that's what they do in choir. Got to stand up to sing loud. It's funny, you're sitting closest to me and I haven't heard you sing yet.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm singing loud as I can.
Okay. Take your earbud out. Ready? X is equal to
Opposite b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a.
louder. I want Mrs. I even forget her name right now. I want Olivia, Mrs. Foreman. There we go. I want her to wonder, what the hell am I doing to you guys in here right now? Ready? X is equal to opposite b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Your turn. Loud as obnoxious as you can. Ready? I mean, just scream it. Ready? X
Is equal to opposite b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over over 2a.
Okay, have a seat. Now, you guys are looking at me giggling, thinking I'm on drugs or something, but I swear to God this works because I've seen it work. I've been proctoring an ACT test, and I had a student sitting in there, and he came across a quadratic equation on the ACT, which there are a lot of them, and all of a sudden I heard, he was humming it. Okay, and then all of a sudden he's humming faster, and he started working on the problem, and it was really quite a beautiful thing to witness if you're a math teacher. So, but it works, okay? And in 30 years, when you have kids, and you'll have some wind-up mobile, it'll play Pop Goes the Weasel, and you'll be sitting there thinking, X is equal to opposite B plus, yeah. Now you might not be using it, and you'll curse me. And that's okay because I'll be dead in 30 years, so I don't care. So, this part right here, b squared minus 4ac, that's called the discriminant. Okay? That's the part that we're going to find first. So, at the World Championship Pumpkin Chunkin contest, pumpkins are launched hundreds of yards. The path of a pumpkin can be modeled by h equals negative 16t squared plus 124.4t plus 42. Get your calculators out, by the way. Where h is the height in feet and t is the number of seconds after the launch. Use the quadratic formula to solve 0 equals negative 16t squared plus 124.4t plus 42. So, what is my value for A? What is my value of B?
124.4.
And what is my value for C?
42.
Okay, so just by looking at the way this is set up, having that B value of 124.4, okay, as a decimal, and then the fact that 42 is not a perfect square. I really don't want to use completing the square. I don't want to use the square root property. Factoring it, I don't know of any factors of positive 42 that add to 124.4. So you see how we have issues on all the other ways we've learned to solve this quadratic function. So what we'll do is we will use a quadratic formula. So again, the quadratic formula, x is equal to opposite b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So the first part I want to do is the b squared minus 4ac. So I'm going to do that off to the side. Okay, so 124.4 squared minus 4 times A times C. Okay, so what would that value be? Go ahead and put those in your calculators. Now, notice the way I've written that. That's the way I would encourage you to put that in your calculators, because that is going to take care of all of the signs for you, okay, if you're using parentheses. What do we get? Big number.
18,163.36.
0.36?
Yep.
Okay. So, x is equal to the opposite of b plus or minus the square root of 1,000 or 18,163.36, all divided by 2 times negative 16. So this is negative 124.4 plus or minus that square root of 18,163.36 divided by negative 32. So that's negative 124.4 plus square root of 18,163.36 divided by negative 32 and negative 124.4 minus the square root of 18,163.36 divided by negative 32. So what do I get when I take the square root of 18,136.36? 163.36. 134. Okay, so 0.77. So I have negative 124.4 plus 134.77. And I have negative 124.4 minus square root of 100 or 170, I don't know, I forgot, 170, 34.77. Divided by negative 32. So I get negative 0.65 for the first one.
There you go. I'm not getting that.
Oh, I see what I did wrong. How about negative 0.32? Yeah? Okay. And then negative 124.4 minus 134.77 divided by negative 32 gives me 8.10 seconds. Okay. So, what does that tell me?
You can plug them in and they will work.
Okay, they'll plug them in, that's what we'll get zeros, right? So, and we're talking about H is the height of the pumpkin. So when we're launching our pumpkin, we're at time 0, correct? Okay, so if I put 0 in for T, what do I get for a height?
42.
42, okay? So that's my starting height, okay? That's where the catapult is launching the pumpkin from, is a height of 42 feet, okay? So our answer of negative 0.32, that's not going to be valid. That's not going to be useful at all to this problem because we can't have a negative time, okay? Now, the 8.10 seconds, what that tells us, that tells me how long it's going to take for that pumpkin until it hits the ground. So it's going to be in the air for 8.10 seconds, or actually 8.0991. That's how long it'll be in the air for. Okay? Questions? Yeah.
Would those be like your x-intercepts too then?
Yeah, those are the x-intercepts. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, so a diver jumps from a diving platform that is 10 meters high. Her arc can be modeled by y equals negative 4.9 x squared plus 2.5x plus 10, where y is her height in meters and x is the time in seconds. The diver enters the water after approximately blank seconds. Okay, so again, have to set this up and solve it quadratically using a quadratic formula. What is A? B? And C? Okay. So, x is equal to opposite b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. b squared minus 4ac, that's the part we're doing first. That's the discriminant. So, 2.5 squared minus 4 times negative 4.9 times c, which is 10. So 2.5 squared minus 4 times negative 4.9 times 10. We should get 202.25. Yes? Okay. So when I plug that in, x is equal to opposite of b plus or minus the square root of 202.25 all over 2 times negative 4.9. So if I take the square root of that, just approximating, I get 14.22. Okay, so negative 2.5 plus or minus 14.22 divided by negative 9.8. Okay, so x is equal to negative 2.5 plus 14.22 divided by negative 9.8, and x equals negative 2.5 minus 14.22 divided by negative 9.8. So I get negative 1.20 seconds and x equals .76 over 1.71, sorry. Which answer would I use in this problem? 1.71. Okay, questions? All right. Let's do this one. X squared plus 4x minus 17 equals 0. What is my value for A? B? C? Okay. So, B squared minus 4AC, that's what I'm finding first. So, 4 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 17. Negative 4 times negative 17 is positive 68. 16 plus 68 is 84. Is my arithmetic correct? I'll wait for you to check. It's 84, right? Okay, so negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 84 all over 2 times 1. So 84, if I break 84 up, that's 4 and 21. 21 is 3 times 7. So x is equal to negative 4 plus or minus, square root of 4 is 2. 3 and 7, there's nothing I can do but put them back together underneath the jail sign. All divided by 2. Everybody see what I've done so far? I just took square root of 84 and I broke it into this. Okay, so now, is there something that goes into negative 4, 2, and 2? 2 does, right? So I can divide everything by 2 or factor out the 2 and I get x equals negative 2 plus or minus square root 21. And that's my exact answer. Questions? Okay. What is A here? B? C? Okay, so B squared minus 4AC. 25 minus 4 times 3 times 1. 25 minus 12 is 13, right? Okay, so x equals opposite b plus or minus square root 13 all over 2 times 3. There's my answer. Questions?
Why don't you solve these ones all the way through?
What do you mean by solving them all the way through?
Like get it down to a decimal for your answer.
Because the decimal is just going to be an approximation. That is exact. You cannot get more exact than that. And the nice thing is, it's actually less work.
Yeah.
Okay? Any other questions? That was a good question, Sam. Thanks. Okay. What is my value here for A? B? C? Okay, so B squared minus 4 times A times C. So I have 64 minus 220. Is that right? Okay. 64 minus 220. Negative 156. Okay, so that's already I know I'm gonna have what now? An I. Okay? So let's see, what's the square root of 156? Is that a perfect square? 156 isn't? Okay. So can I divide it by 4?
Yeah.
439.
4 and 39? And then 39 is 3 and 13. That won't help us any, but so I can simplify this now. So I have x equals the opposite of b plus or minus square root 4 is 2, square root 39. Whoop, and I forgot my I. So 2i square root 39 all over 2 times 5.
Did we get 2 because
Square root 4. So let's see, I can divide everything by 2. So negative 4 plus or minus I square root 39 divided by 5. Oh, yikes. Questions? Do this one on your own, please. I want that as an exact answer, not a decimal. Whoop.
Oh, you have to have a pair to go? I thought if you have a pair, it keeps them out. So it gives you 3.
Okay, we get, for our b squared minus 4ac, we get negative 639, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if I take that and divide by 3, I get negative 213. Can I take negative 213 divided by anything? What?
71
71?
and 3.
213. Yep, okay, so then I have 3 plus or minus 3i square root 71 divided by 18. And then I can divide everything by 3, right? So 1 plus or minus I square root 71 divided by 6. And there's my answer. Questions?
For the decimal that goes in front of the square root, or like, you have to have a pair of them for it to go in front?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, basically, we found that 639 is 71 times 9.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the square root of 9 times the square root of 71. If I want the square root of 639, square root of 9 is 3. So, and then the other way of looking at that, so there's your pair. Okay? Questions? Okay. So, like we said, or like I said, the discriminant is that b squared minus 4ac. The value of the discriminant can be used to determine the number and type of roots for the quadratic equation. So, if b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0, and it's a perfect square, I will have 2 real rational roots. If b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0, but not a perfect square, I'll have 2 real irrational roots. Remember the difference between a rational and irrational number. Rational number is any number that can be written as a fraction of integers or as a decimal that terminates or repeats. Irrational number is a number whose decimal does not terminate, nor will it repeat. Okay, so if x is greater than 0, I'm going to have 2 answers. I'm sorry, if b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0, I'm going to have 2 answers. If the discriminant is a perfect square, I'll have 2 rational answers. If my discriminant is not a perfect square, I will have 2 irrational answers. If b squared minus 4ac is equal to 0, I will have 1 real rational root. If b squared minus 4ac is less than 0, I will have two complex roots. So again, if the discriminant is positive, I will have two real roots. If the discriminant's a perfect square, there'll be two rational roots. If it's not a perfect square, it'll be two irrational roots. If the discriminant is equal to 0, there will be one rational root. If the discriminant is negative, there will be two complex roots. So let's put that to work. Two x squared minus 10x plus 7. Find the value for the discriminant. Describe the number and type of roots for the equation. Okay, so what is A? 2. B is. C is. Okay. B squared minus 4AC. Negative 10 squared minus 4 times 1, or times 2, sorry, times 7. 100 minus 56, so I get 44. Is 44 a perfect square? No, okay? So I have two irrational roots. Questions? Okay. Do this one on your own.
Jensen, it's your equations.
B squared minus 4AC is what? 0. So that tells me I have one root. So there is one root. Okay, same thing. Find the value for the discriminant and tell me the number and type of roots. What is my discriminant? Negative 200? Agree? Okay, so what does that tell me about my roots?
Too complex.
Too complex, very good. TWO, complex, not TOO complex. Okay. All right, our exit ticket. Number 1. B squared minus 4AC is less than 0. What type of solution will I have? Imaginary. B squared minus 4AC equals 0. What kind of solution will I have? Rational. And how many will I have? 1. Okay. B squared minus 4AC greater than 0.
Rational and unequal. Or real and unequal.
Real and
Equal. Unequal.
real and unequal, right. And B squared minus 4AC is a perfect square. Nope.
Rational.
Rational. Okay?